And how did you meet Dad?
Okay, I went to a dance at Rutgers, a singles dance. I haven't a clue who I went with or how I got there. And so I went to Newark State. He went to Newark College of Engineering. He was a year or two ahead of me. And he asked me to dance.
So you were in college when you met him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we had one date where I drank too much. It was a road.
What did you drink?
2 drinks.
Okay.
But every time the band took a break, they play "Gonna Take a Sentimental Journey." I don't know, Dinah Shore or something or other. Ask me in an hour, I'll know. And then I didn't see him. Really weird. I didn't know he then went to work. That it was, he went to drive his Good Humor truck, and that's the income he had to pay for college for the whole next year. Mm-hmm. He made like $2,100 when people were making a quarter of that. Mm-hmm. He was a hustler. And then around Thanksgiving or so, I went with Jane and met Joan, and we went to the Irvington house must have been BBG's.
What is the Irvington house?
It's where I got married when they changed their name. I'm not getting married at the Irvington house. You know how many times I went to that place for a dance? And I don't want to get married at the Irvington house. Oh, don't worry about it. It's the Coronet. We're booking the Coronet. Walked in, there was the Irvington house, just repainted. But anyhow, so I was with this boy named Bruce. He asked me to dance. We were sitting on the sidelines, and your father walked over, and I had some bleached streaks in the front. I don't think it was bleached. I think it was sprayed. I'm not sure. And came over and walked over and said, "I don't like what you did to your hair," and sat down. So there I am sitting with the 2 people feeling terrific. Anyhow, poor Bruce, he came to the house one time. He came up the front steps. He's wearing all brown, which is not a very classy color. Sweater looked like his mother made it. I met him at a dance at Newark College of Engineering. No, well, they were all from the fraternity at Newark College of Engineering. And he asked me to dance that night. And then he asked me out. And he was all in brown, and the sweater looked like his mother made it. And I introduced him. His initials were BB. Okay. So Bruce whatever. And I introduced him as Bernie Blutinger.
Oh, dear.
My mother corrected me. Okay. And we went with another couple. And the other guy was like 6 foot and rather gorgeous. And we had a wonderful evening. And I later dated him. Okay. And then a couple of years after that, I went to Tamiment, which was a singles place in the Poconos. I don't remember exactly where. I keep trying to find out. And I met Bruce's younger brother. And Bruce came over and said, "I recognize your name. You broke my brother's heart. When he took you out, he came home and he told my mom that he met the girl he wanted to marry. And you wouldn't go out with him again." I was going out with his best friend, but he didn't know that.
And so when did you reconnect with Dad after that?
Well, after the dance at the Irvington house, he said he would drive Joan home, which was the other side of town, west side. And she called me the next day, and she says, "I know you dated him once. Would it be all right if I went out with him?" And I said, yeah, I only went out once and never saw him again for 6 months. And he called me. And so we went, I think we had 4 dates ever.
Mm-hmm.
We went to see Witness for the Prosecution, which was a good movie. And then he graduated, and I went to his prom. And then he went to California to work. And he wrote me maybe 1 letter every 2 months or something. They're somewhere in the closet. And my mother yelled at me because he spelled Goldstein wrong. He spelled Goodwin Avenue wrong. And she said to me, "You're blue penciling and it's not nice."
Okay.
But they were very brief letters, but I didn't find out 2 years later. I was the only one he communicated with. He didn't communicate with anybody in his family, his father, for the time. And then he wrote me, and he said I should come to California. Mm-hmm. And that was like Christmas time. Well, I'm going to go to California for a week. So Jane and Florence and I decided we would go to California, and we each enrolled in a class at USC. Mm-hmm. We lived in the dorm, and I went out with your father. Mm-hmm. In the evenings. He took me to that Japanese place on the hill that was in the movie.
The
Long name.
Yes.
Well,
I'm blanking on the name.
I think the movie was Sayonara.
Something Palace.
Yeah, he took
with an F.
He took Matthew there one time.
I took Matthew there.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I just can't think of it.
I don't know. Anyhow.
It's actually right above the Magic Castle.
Okay, so then we went, the 4 of us in the car, yeah. This little old beat-up car that he had, and we drove to San Francisco. And on the way to San Francisco, just outside Salinas, we pulled over on the side of the road to try and figure out where the heck we were. And somebody came and crashed into the back of the car and totaled the car. The guy worked for AAA, so they said they would take care of us. And we were really lucky because a week later was the big festival in Salinas, and there wasn't a room available for miles. Really lucky. And that night we went to the movies. Terrible movies. Terrible movies. The 3 of us were in one room. He was in another room. And I kept saying, I can't understand it. My father would have fallen apart in little pieces. His car's totaled, and he's saying, well, we'll get to San Francisco. I'll buy another car. And he's calm, and he's handling it well. All Florence wanted to talk about was her suitcase wouldn't close anymore. And anyhow, they rented us a car. When we got to San Francisco, Dad and I went to the car lot to buy a car. And there was a thing on the keychain for the keys with a phone number on it. So I spotted that, and he called and asked the guy what was wrong with the car, why he had traded it in. And the guy told him if there was anything wrong, and he bought a car. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we went to San Francisco and walked into the Red Garter, which was one of those places where the folk singers were starting. Very famous, big deal. I walked in, and I said to Jane and Florence, by chance, were there, come to the bathroom, come to the bathroom, come to the bathroom. And I told them I'm in love, and they said, we know.
When did you didn't you go with Dad to Yosemite?
That was the summer.
But that was a separate part of the trip that you didn't.
Yeah,
go.
Right. We went from San Francisco to Yosemite.
Oh, so Jane and Joan.
They didn't go.
Oh, okay.
They did their own shtick.
You saw a bear?
Yeah. Told me there were no bears. He said it was with the lighting and everything. We were on the ground in sleeping bags.
Okay.
That night we moved into a tent, but we were on the ground in sleeping bags. And he said it was the illusion between the two trees and the lighting and everything, that it was probably just a rabbit. And I believed him and went to sleep. And then the next morning, I go into the ladies' room to brush my teeth, whatever, and there's this humongous sign about where to keep your clothes, where to keep mostly the food, so it wouldn't attract the bears. And I hit the ceiling, and we moved into a tent. Not that they were any more secure, but that was that. And then when we got back to California, I met your grandmother at some point in that trip. And it was after he proposed at the smokehouse, something like that.
What smokehouse?
It was in Burbank.
Okay.
I want to say the smokehouse.
What type of, was it a barbecue place?
I don't know, but it was not far from the studios.
And did you go to Knott's Berry Farm?
No, never.
Okay.
Never been there.
Okay.
But then he took me to meet your grandmother, and she gave me a little gift. It was so charming.
What was it?
A little heart, turquoise, somewhere in the drawer. But it was very sweet. She was very welcoming, very kind, and everything. And I knew that this was a person that if you ever had a friend who was lost, you could tell them they could knock on the door and she would take them in.
And did you meet Rochelle and
I don't know if it was that day, but I did meet Millie, Aunt Millie, and her husband, who had Parkinson's real bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I remember the name is Yamashiro Palace. So no F at all, but it is Yamashiro.
Yamashiro Palace, yeah. That was very nice. We sat on the floor, put our feet. I probably, but I mean, your feet didn't go into a hole in the ground like they had in another room or something. We had to sit cross-legged, and not that comfortable. Food was different.
Okay. Let me stop it here.